red blood vessels? Pulmonary veins. What are all the blue ones?
Arteries.
Pulmonary arteries. What are all these white ones? Bronchioles. That's the little bronchi. Okay? That's split, split, split. And of course, I'm just going to warn you in advance, since we've already had a test on the heart, any heart parts, any blood vessel parts are fair game on the next test. Because we are not in the business of brain dumping important anatomical facts. So just warning you, same thing here. Inside of the heart, anything we've done in the heart, you know, like chordae tendineae and papillary muscles and S&L valves, make sure you can identify them. All right. My emphasis today is, of course, on the lungs themselves. So here is the trachea coming down. Each of these little rings of cartilage are called C-rings because they're kind of C-shaped. And this right here, that little triangle labeled number 1, that's the carina. From that, we get our 2 major bronchi, okay? We call them the primary. The one that branches is the secondary. The one that branches from that is the tertiary. Any of these little tiny ones, I don't know if that's the 5th branch or the 10th branch, just call all these little guys here bronchioles, please. Don't make it hard. Don't make it hard. There's always somebody who says, well, that one is the 14th split. I don't know that, and neither do you, so don't make it up. All right, but you basically have 1, 2 secondary bronchi going to the 2 lobes, and 1, 2, 3 going to the 3 lobes. Okay? That's what your secondaries do. All righty, and of course, what's this red thing coming down here? That's your aorta going up, and then your aorta coming down. What's the coming down aorta called? Descending. Gee, what could this muscular tube be that ends up right here? Ah. That's your next lab practicum, which is for digestive. Might as well learn it. Okay, close up. This is your larynx here. This thing is your epiglottis, laying on top of the hole, which is the glottis. Looking at it from another side, we have again hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage. This is a muscle that goes from my thyroid to my hyoid, so that's called my thyrohyoid muscle. Wow, you mean they name muscles for origin and insertion?
What about the greater and lesser corneas?
Okay, greater and lesser corneas. Can't see it too well here, but there's another model that shows it. A cornu is a horn, so the little horn is the lesser, and this big one back here is called the greater. Okay? And the word cornu means horn or horny, so that's why they call it that. Close up. Okay. Now, let's see what's happening inside our mouth and throat. Okay, let's orient ourselves. Frontal sinus. Sphenoid sinus. That's your pituitary gland sitting in what dip? Sella turcica. Very good. Here's my nose. This is the vestibule. The hole here is your external nair. This hole here is your internal nair. Got it? Okay. Then your inferior, middle, and superior nasal concave. Looks like it's spelled concha. Okay? Those are the bumps on the inside of your nose, which slows down the air, so we have time to humidify it and what? Heat it up. Right? As well as catch things on the hairs. All right. This little hole here is the eustachian tube opening. Right here. This tissue, see this tissue right here? Emphasized here would be your pharyngeal tonsil. This one on the sides is your palatine tonsil with your uvula hanging down here. This tissue at the base of your tongue is the lingual tonsil. That's what the doctor looks at when he says stick out your tongue and go ah. This is the hard palate. That means this is the soft palate. It's called soft because it moves. This is your tongue, also known as the glossus muscle. This is your mandible right here. Let's see. What is this part of your pharynx called? Nasal pharynx. What's this part? Oral, because it's behind your mouth. What part is this? Laryngeal pharynx. That's your larynx. Your larynx is all of this put together. It's the epiglottis on top, which comes down on top of this hole called the glottis. On either side of the glottis, you can't really see it too well, are the two vocal cords that go back and forth. This represents your thyroid cartilage with the Adam's apple called the thyroid, what was it called? Laryngeal prominence. What's prominent mean? Sticks out. Okay. Guys have that, girls don't. Hey, what's the myth? Why do guys have an Adam's apple and girls don't?
They didn't eat the apple?
Huh?
Because they didn't eat the apple? Something like that?
Oh no, she did eat the apple.
No, the males didn't.
Oh yeah, he did. That's why they both got kicked out of heaven. I got kicked out of
Well,
paradise.
I mean, like first.
It got stuck in his throat. That's why it's called Adam's apple. Got it? Adam and Eve? You never heard that?
Yes, but not
Okay.
about that.
Well, that's why. Because supposedly he realized halfway through swallowing he had eaten the wrong thing and it got stuck. Okay? Alright, and then this here represents the cricoid cartilage, and each of these represents the C rings. Which will, like I said, there's another model that shows it much better. Tracheal rings. And of course, down here, esophagus. Alright, here's your nose, up close and personal. Can you see a couple of things? Well, just like before. What sinus? Sphenoid. What sinus? Frontal. Inferior, middle, superior, concave. See the holes inside? Ethmoid sinuses, because this is all part of the ethmoid bone. That's all part of the sphenoid bone. Hard palate. No soft palate seen here. Nose hole, external nair. This opening here, internal nair. Hey, what's this thing pointed, sticking up? Nope, above your ethmoid bone. Come on, Christagalli. That's right, Christagalli. Alright, and of course this is the intranasal septum. Here we have the eustachian tube opening, hard palate. Now we got the soft palate with the uvula hanging down. If I take that away, there's my olfactory bulb with the olfactory nerves coming down through the cribriform plate with the olfactory foramina. Alrighty. Here's just the cartilage of our larynx. Again, what's this? Hyoid bone. These two are the lesser cornu. This is the thyroid cartilage. This is the cricoid cartilage. These are the tracheal rings, C rings. All right. Too bad I gotta keep walking back and forth. All right. If we look at the side, you can see where the laryngeal prominence is. Lesser and greater cornu of the hyoid bone. Well, you see, your thyroid cartilage has a superior and an inferior cornu. They've got some spikes too. Superior and inferior cornu. Again, cricoid cartilage, tracheal rings,
You want me to change that for you?
To what?
You want to change that so you don't pull it right?
You okay with that? Okay, go ahead. All right, now we're looking at the back side. Hyoid, thyroid in the front. This is the back side. That's the back side of your cricoid cartilage. That's my epiglottis. Down here is my glottis. These two things back here are what? Who's got their list in front of them? Oh, let me do it all. Huh? Arytenoid cartilages. The arytenoid cartilage are in the back, and they move back and forth. On top of the arytenoid cartilage are 2 points called the corniculate cartilage. Got it? Cornu means what? Horn. So those 2 little horns. Corniculate cartilage. And all of this is your cricoid from the back. Gee, is there a thyroid cartilage in the back? No, there isn't. Stops right there. Got it? It's open in the back. However,